You're just rocking out.
I wasn't 100% sold on that music. Oh, I'm still not 100% sold on the intro as well. But whenever it plays, like, I get into it.
You get jiving.
I get jiving, yeah. Welcome, everybody. Around the Basket, episode 12. Can you imagine? We keep saying that every week. But
we're at a dozen.
We're at a dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're rolling along. We're rolling along now.
It's great.
Yeah. Last week we had nobody. It was a solo episode, me and you.
Nobody.
Well,
it was you and me.
It was the big somebodies.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was a pretty good episode, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. No, it was a good throwback to what we used to do.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of finding our feet in this Around the Basket episode. We're starting to get to where we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Still ironing out the creases, but we're getting there.
Well, and we're getting to that point where we're getting excited about, like, we were always been excited about it, but finding our way. But now, we're getting there because we're starting to drop little teasers for it, trying to make sure to start promoting it, right. Knowing that there is a product there and we're liking what it's becoming.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Welcome to everybody in the chat. I should bring up the chat so that I know who is in the chat.
Well, it could be one of our 15 Patreon members. So thank you all for being members of that. And then right now we're sitting at 300, maybe more since the episode there, but 336 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah. Welcome to Dina and welcome to Kevin. Yeah. Kevin must be, he's here now. So I think this is Kevin's first episode.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Welcome to the clan, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're friendly here. We're a friendly bunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as we like to say to our friendly bunch, be sure to spread the word. We really want to start making a push to about, 350 subscribers. We've got this giveaway. We got another giveaway where we've got that lovely disc that Dina dyed for us. We've got a Edga pig.
Yeah.
We have a Prodigy bag. We have a Kevin Topping wooden chain out mini.
Yeah.
I think we got a Mike Carey set of bird beads. That's kind of what we're going to start with this next giveaway. We just got to figure out, is 350 the magic number? I don't know.
It's one of those, it's one of those things where originally 350 seemed far away, but then you get one more subscriber and then you get one more subscriber and you think, well, it's still... Because we're only incrementally going up one at a time, it takes forever to get to that 350. So we did that. We did that before. We promoted, I think it was 200 or 250.
We're like, boom,
and we were like, we're gonna do it. And then it just took so long to get to that point that it was like, we're still waiting. And it was like 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks that went by, and it was like we're still on the countdown for 250.
To the point it was like an infomercial for a sad situation. It was like, you could only for 50 cents a day help us get to the next subscriber.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't want to promote it too early and then be in the same situation. But now we're only 15 or 14 subscribers away from that 350.
Right.
So does 350 sound like a good number for everybody?
Yeah.
I think it does. I think if we push for 14 more subscribers, then it gets us to 350.
And that's a decent giveaway. That's like on par with that first 100 giveaway we did.
Yeah. And then I think after 350, maybe we go for a big push for 500.
Oh, look at you.
That's 150 more. But
maybe it's 4, maybe it's 450. Well, whatever.
Maybe it's 375.
All right, 350 is the push. Help us get there.
Yeah.
We're going to give away a prize, and it's going to be great.
Dina, if you want to put it out or if you want to get it correct, I'll send you the details. Look for the post. We'll put it out there. I don't know what the words are. At 350, we're giving away some discs. We'll take a photo.
What we'll do is we'll take a photo of the whole giveaway, and then what we'll also do is we'll do individual photos of the items in the giveaway and put them all in one post, maybe, where you can swipe them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can do that.
All right. Cool.
I know how to do that.
Nice. So with the Patreon episodes like we have tonight, interact with us. Throw your comments and questions in the chat. We'll try to get to them as much as we can. We really want to make these Around the Baskets feel like we're all around the basket.
Yeah, we should let Kevin know that. These episodes, Kevin, these are a lot more interactive. It's not just an interview. We definitely take the chat questions and take their input and try and make it, like you said, make us feel like we're all just sitting around the basket having a conversation.
Yeah, doing what is it? The circle of fire putt and giving each other a hard time, that kind of thing.
That's what we could have called the episode. The
circle of fire?
No,
it doesn't work.
Anyway.
Well, this week we are joined by a local disc golfer and Patreon member, a guest who joined the PDGA in 2024 and is already as passionate about disc golf, I'd almost say as much as a pro disc golfer, Daryl.
Yeah.
And if you weren't sure about that, just look at the fact that he played 20 PDGA events last year. you'd think he's already on tour,
Yeah.
playing that many events. So join us in welcoming Sam Western to Around the Basket.
Howdy, gang.
How are you doing, Sam?
Decently? I'm well. Yourselves?
We're doing fantastic. It's a good night. It's a good night for podcasting, I think.
It's a fantastic night for podcasting, mostly because it's way too disgusting to go throw a round of glow golf right now.
You bet. And on top of that, you're never going to win in a game of glow golf, because even if it goes slightly under the snow at this point, I don't know if it would glow strong enough. Have you guys ever done that?
They'd be gone.
Yeah.
I would try. You can play winter golf or you could play glow golf, but you can't play winter glow golf.
No.
And I mean, if I'm saying that, you can probably take that to the bank. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're getting back to an episode we had a couple of weeks ago, Jeremy. We got the champion plastic, the Halo champion plastic, that you can play winter golf.
Right.
You can play glow golf, but you can't play winter glow golf.
Yeah. Or winter glow golf with ribbons. Like, where does it stop?
Exactly.
Well, unfortunately for you, Sam,
it's no cold anyway.
Yeah, like unfortunately for Sam, he had to come back to this weather, and we do say welcome back. We tried to
we'll touch on that.
Yeah, we tried to order you better weather, and for everyone who didn't know, we kind of mentioned it there. You were just down in Belize. How long were you down in Belize for?
Just one way too short week. I also managed to pick probably one of the nicest weeks of weather we've had in Edmonton to go down. So joke's on me on that one. Oops.
Isn't that always
readjusting hasn't been super kind, but I'm getting through it. I've played dog rump a couple times, rather unhappily, but I've been out there. I've been out and about. Yeah, I prefer the hot weather. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, before we go to that hot weather, I have a quick question, Daryl. I want to know is like when you get to when you've been playing dog rump, how is it right now? Because I will be out in Atchison on Monday on the holiday, and I have to do a little bit of work, and I'm okay with that. But once I'm done that work by about lunch, I was I need to reward myself, and maybe that reward is heading out to Stoney to play around there. So what's it like right now?
I mean, it's marginal. I'm gonna I'll be honest, Briggsy and I had it beat in real good. We were playing many times a week, which if you follow me on UDisc, you may have seen. I kind of hit the share and post button without thinking about it at all. So yeah, we had the fairways nice and beaten in, and I went away for a week there, and it snowed a bit, and it snowed some more after I got back, and the fairways are no longer so nice.
Right.
So I went out with Briggsy and the crew on I can't remember if it's Saturday, Monday, doesn't matter. Yeah, not great. I'll be honest. And then, so to top that off, I convinced Briggsy to go back and look for the discs we had left. So we went back and we tore up one fairway looking for his anchor, and then we didn't find it. We tore up another fairway looking for my RPM 2E, and we didn't find it. And they're like, well, heck with it. We'll play the rest of the hole. So we started playing on 8, and come 14, he turned over a paradox too much. It's just gone. We never saw it again. And then 15, I put a disc into the bush, and I probably should have given up on it, but we happened to find it sort of luckily.
Right.
And then I should have taken that as a sign, and I didn't. And then I teed off with it on 17, and it couldn't have gone more than 40 feet, and I did not find it.
Oh, that's wow. Crazy.
So the conditions are a little rough, but if you want to commit to Monday, I'll go out there and I will clean that sucker up. It will be completely playable, I promise you.
Well, it doesn't need to be completely playable. I just need someone to completely play with. That's all.
Yeah. And I mean, you know what? On that course, I will say spotting's pretty important. And I have also been incredibly stubborn and not ribboned any of my discs up until this point. And I feel like I may have learned a lesson in that regard.
Right.
So I'm going to slap a couple of ribbons on some discs and hopefully play in those fairways some more. We find some of the countless discs that are on that course right now.
Well, that's the thing I was going to mention. There's a couple things I wanted to say. One is that we were lucky enough to get out there in the summertime and play it. And if you went just slightly off the fairway, you're, at that time.
Gone, right?
Yeah, it was gone. That was in the summer and the spring when we were there, let alone what it's going to be like in the winter with all that snow. So I would hate to go out and play there at this time of year.
Yeah.
Second thing I was going to say with Briggsy, how does he even carry on playing? Because he only ever takes like 3 discs with him. So if he's lost one or two,
it got pretty marginal. He was
Yeah.
throwing just a pure after a while. Like that
Right.
was it. To be fair, at Dog Rump, I only do a hip holster now too. And yeah, if you lose one, you start thinking about your shots a lot more. Like,
Right.
geez, I'm down to my putting putter, and whatever I didn't just lose. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Right. Like it affects your game on a 3-disc round for sure. Like there's considerations to make after you toss a few away.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And then in the chat here, we were talking about it being cold. Dean is saying it's minus 31 in the Peg tonight.
Oh, I've always said that Winnipeg gets colder than Edmonton, hotter than Edmonton, and has more mosquitoes. That's what I've always been told. Minus 31. There you go again.
Yeah.
I have a special place in my heart for Winnipeg, and I'm not implying that special means good. Some of the worst weather I have ever experienced in my life happened in Winnipeg. That said, Disc Republic's there, so it's got to be a great place, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
You got to take the good with the bad.
You got Jason there.
Kevin's saying that his anchor's in Ontario. I don't know what that means.
Oh,
maybe it actually is in Ontario, or
I have it on decent authority. He's heading back to Ontario, so he can find it if it's actually a lost disc.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
And then Dean is like, "Who uses ribbons on their discs for winter discs?"
Well, me now, I guess.
Yeah, and I usually I ribboned up my whole bag last year. This year I haven't.
Yeah,
I've had like one on. I think
I've never used a ribbon.
No, it really pays off, because when you can lose a disc, as you've seen, where it goes, oh yeah, I see where it went under the snow, and it goes another 6 feet forward and down, and it's nowhere near where you thought it was. And that ribbon, if it's trailing behind, you can usually find it.
I know I can understand it having its benefits. I just don't know, like, okay, for people that do have ribbons on their discs, is it any different throwing? Does it get caught up around your arm?
No,
Does it trail on your arm? Or
anything? I mean, I've seen it get caught on people, but I think if you're careful, you can avoid that. That said, like, I mean, my mind has changed. I'm going to ribbon up a couple discs. It is what it is.
Well, you're not trying to break records in the winter. You're just trying to play.
No, I'm trying to not break anything on my body, let alone records. Like, for what it's worth, I'm 98% sure I'd have found one of the discs if it had been ribboned. The other one, I will say, if you come out and play with me, I'll show you a cheater line that is completely blind for the landing. So we need to start spottering it. And that's 100% the reason I lost the disc. It landed in the fairway, which is super turned up by boots. We never had eyes on it.
Yeah.
I kind of threw out of my hands, like, that's going to be hard to find. And then we didn't. So that one was, I don't think ribbon would have helped that one, but the other one, I suspect I would still have that if I had had a ribbon on it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, and minus 31 in Winnipeg, but that's probably not what it was like in Belize, right? What was it like while you were down there?
I mean, I could probably check UDisc for when I actually played my rounds, but I don't think we got colder than 22 degrees even overnight, and upwards of 30. I don't think it actually hit 30, 28, but 100% humidity sort of thing. Like, it felt like you were breathing liquid. Well, honestly, like, we did some touring around and some hiking, some Mayan pyramids, and it was tough. Yeah. Like, it was hard. And it was like, these are things I could have easily done back home. What is going on here? Like, oh, well, I'm basically drinking the air at this point. So, yeah.
You're underwater almost is what it would have felt like.
Near, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we knew you, as you just kind of said there, and we knew from kind of paying attention and messaging back and forth with you that you did get a chance to play some disc golf out there. Now, when you were like setting up the trip, did you look for a time when there was a tournament, or was that just a happy coincidence?
In my decision making, I cannot tell a lie. That it was a big part of it. I was at a point where I needed some warm weather. I kind of needed a break from the Edmonton area for, the general winter reasons. I need a bit more sun in my life, especially as I get older. The tradesman joints ache in the cold weather like this. So I figured, let's go somewhere warm. Belize is something I'd been eyeing pre-disc golf, actually. Like, I've known about it a long time, but I'd never really pulled the trigger on it.
Right.
And then, post disc golf, now that I snoop disc golf scene everywhere, and that I've become a bit of a traveler, disc golf definitely factors in, my destinations where I think, hey, let's go here, try this out. They host a lot of tournaments, though, so it wasn't too hard to pick one this time of year. There was, I think, 2 that were within 2 weeks of each other. And just sort of picked the one and said, we're going to make this work. I think like booking the tournament and then like, flying there couldn't have been more than 3 weeks. It was really short notice.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it was great though. Like I would do it again, and I would have given myself way more time down there.
Right.
But hey, that's lesson learned.
Yeah, well, it sounds like because I've been as far down as Mexico, and I'm heading down there again in March, going to a new area for me to Huatuco, which is kind of heading down towards the border. But Belize is pretty much right after you pass Mexico. Is it? Am I right on that, or is it a little further?
So, without pulling up Google Maps, if you have ever been to Cancun, Cancun is about an hour flight north of the border of Belize.
Okay.
If you've ever toured that coast, there's a city called Chetumal that is in Mexico. It is immediately north of the Belizean border. I think there is, Belize borders Mexico a little bit on its west side, but also borders Guatemala. So yeah, it's at the southeastern end of Mexico, the northeastern end of Guatemala, and then its southern border, I believe, is Honduras.
That's pretty good without a map, eh?
Yeah.
I do like me some geography. I may have a map somewhere up in my house of the entire world that I look at sometimes, planning things,
throwing darts and seeing where it's going to take you next.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that tournament that you played down there.
Yep.
I remember for people that were listening last week, we talked about it last week. How did that tournament go for you, Sam?
Yeah. Why don't you tell everybody?
I don't know if this will show up because it's kind of full of stuff and sort of dark, but I'm not good at the YouTube stuff. I sort of see first place there.
Oh, yeah.
And this isn't the girlfriend's one. She has a pink one on the fireplace over there.
Nice.
Truth be told, I played against two other guys. Sort of did some UDisc and some PDGA snooping before I go down, as I'm known to do. And I figured it was a pretty good chance. But I still played, for me, some really good disc golf. I threw my best rated round in the first round of 3.
Nice.
I beat my rating in all 3 rounds, which is sort of mostly my goal at tournaments these days. Yeah, and especially considering I had traveled, like the day before was a 16 to 18 hour travel day, and then we played 2 rounds of disc golf. I'm not kind to myself when I travel either. Like I push real hard, much to the chagrin of the girlfriend, I will say. But yeah, we made a mile down there, man. We played 3 rounds. Obviously she won. Default. But hey, a win's a win. a win's a win. And I mean, I got to get my licks in. She's got 9 and I've got 1. So I'm just like, I'm happy to have something on the mantle at this point, because I was worried she was just going to take the whole thing over from me.
That's awesome. So you have a win. So obviously you have a win now because we're talking about it. And then I have a win as well now. So,
yeah, no, I don't know. There's something wrong with my PDGA thing, because there's a spot there that's missing. Like, I don't know. Like, how do you... Do I have to say something to them to get that spot in there?
Have you called tech support? Have you turned your PDGA profile on and off?
Yeah. Are you a full-up paid member?
It might be one of those things, because mine shows nothing. I thought maybe it would say 0. It just doesn't show anything. So I think it's an error.
It must be. Because I'm pretty sure you and me playing together, you have the vast majority of wins between the two of us. So like, it must be an error, right? I mean, I was with you for your ace there. I mean, one of several, which I have 0 of. So pretty sure you have a snarky message from me on the back of one of your discs.
Look at him pumping up my tires. Yeah, you were there. That was that forehand ace. That was
forehand throw in on that Church Mando hole. Yeah. That was a great throw. It was in all the way too. Just knew it out of the hand.
Yeah, that was good. I hope for many more of those. I'll take those. I'll take my 3 aces. Thanks, Sam, for reminding me.
I'd love to have one of those. I would actually consider trading at this point. Like, it just, I don't know. Maybe
I've got 3 aces as well and a W.
Okay, so it turned into the bragging channel.
You got truck nuts on your truck too, Daryl? Like, geez, calm down.
That's perfect. Awesome. I think he does.
No, that's definitely not on my. That's definitely not where my.
No, that's not where you're going.
That's not where I lie.
But the other thing too, Sam, was when we were talking about Belize, one of the things that's been cool to watch is on Instagram, Randy Duke puts up a lot of those cool shots that kind of go viral, and his trick shots, and has a lot of fun. Now, did you say he's got a course down there, and was that where you were playing or no?
So I don't know if he has a private course, but I had it on authority from a local that he sort of plays one of the public courses, and it's called Spanish Lookout fairly regularly. He also told us if we got a hold of Randy, he was pretty open to playing with people. I didn't have time to do any of that, unfortunately. Right. I'm also completely off of social media. So the girlfriend, Sam, my social media manager, she didn't look him up either or anything like that. But I will say there was, we had a layover in Denver on our way back from Austin when we went down there, where we went down a bit of a rabbit hole of his ace videos. And I don't know if it was like 100 days of aces or something like that. Right. But man, it was ridiculous just watching those shots. And like I say, sitting here with 0 aces, just like, dude, you're doing this from a truck moving past another truck. Like, come on, that's not fair. Like, yeah. What do I got to do here, guys? Really?
Did you see his recent Super Bowl one where?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that was
have
insane.
To get the girlfriend to pull up Instagram for me.
Yeah, standing on the edge of the water. Somebody passes a disc between his legs. He whips it out into the lake.
Yeah.
Somebody on a Sea-Doo, I think it is, or it might even be on a boat, with a basket on the back, and he hits the ace 7,500 feet out in the middle of the lake.
Well, yeah, I could see that, really. I mean, if there's a guy that's going to hit trick aces, it's, there's
him and Simon, right?
A ton of guys that are doing it. Yeah, him and Simon come to mind, maybe Brody Smith, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and also, too, what I wonder is with a lot of those other trick ones, or even just some of the setup ones, if you're standing on a tee pad, throwing at a basket, you can throw 20 discs, you can throw 40 discs, you can do it pretty quick, right? There's not you can just keep throwing until you get that ace.
Right.
But the ones that Randy sets up, if you had to do it multiple, the reset factor on every one of those aces.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, even just like the truck one, like the fuel burnt down there, knowing what I know. If he shot that video in Belize and he took 100 takes, that was an expensive video.
Right.
Like we rented a car and gas was far and away the most expensive thing we had to deal with down there.
Wow. Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, even then though, like you say, like 40 takes on a video like that, like I don't have 40 molds or discs of a single mold that I could reliably throw for an ace. Like just pull that bag out and like, no, I could take every single putter I have on this vast shelf somewhere over my microphone shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm not used to the YouTube stuff. Yeah, there it is.
But
I could throw all those, and I wouldn't even be remotely confident of hitting one ace. And I imagine Randy takes less takes than 40 for a lot of his videos because I get the impression he's pretty used to just lacing a straight shot at this point.
Yeah, and also, too, if he throws 39 shots before into the ocean, is he going to find 39 discs to bring back from the ocean?
I don't know. I have a bear down in the ocean that I'm hoping to get back at some point. Yeah. Well, to be fair, Sam put a bear in the ocean.
Okay.
Have we mentioned that? I should say, for those of you that don't know me, my partner's name is also Sam, so this could be confusing. Oh, hey, I also see that I'm still labeled Ned here, Daryl.
Oh, yeah, I just noticed that.
That's one of Daryl's favorite ones. That was to to add to the confusion.
Yeah, to really throw people off here.
So, in my defense, it's Jeremy's job to remind me to change it. So,
oh goodness gracious me!
Yeah,
but yeah, so if you catch Sam and Sam out, sometimes it's Sam Squared.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we signed up for doubles tournament last year under Sam Squared. It works good for us.
Awesome.
I'm just gonna do this quickly. I'm gonna call.
I mean, I'll take my Flandersian role for a bit here. I actually have a fun story around Sam Squared while we're on that topic. When we were down in Austin, we played a glow tournament at the Flying Armadillo putting course, which is, if you're ever down in Austin, Flying Armadillo. It's not quite in Austin. You got to go about an hour south to San Marcos.
Okay.
Totally worth the trip. Not only do they have a 3 tee pad full 18 course, they have a short putting course, which if you've ever watched Joe Mez Putting Game, you may have seen an episode filmed there at the start of last year. I think it was, I want to say Nate Sexton, Alden Harris, Gavin Babcock, Gannon Burr.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't use the course as it's actually laid out. They sort of, made their own way better professional level putting course version, which is fine. I think the only shot they actually took that was like the regular layout was that, I don't know if you remember the grain silo shot where they have sort of like the big hoops you have to shoot through.
Yeah.
That was pretty much exactly as played. Otherwise, I think they took pretty good liberties on a lot of the tee positions.
Right.
But yeah, that's a great course to go down to. Just super, super fun. Anyways, we were playing that tournament at night. It was all dark. And we were with this couple from the U.S. as well as we were with Brody. For those of you that know Brody from Calgary, he's a money guy to hang out with. And this couple from Calgary, they told us it was our turn to tee off, and the lady just said, "Oh, it's Sam Squared's turn." And I said, "Oh, did Sam tell you, about our doubles name?" She said, "No." I said, "Oh, we signed up for doubles tournaments under Sam Squared." Like, that's great. Oh, sweet. And then this, from the tee pad in front of us, this guy said, "Hey, did I just hear you guys are both named Sam and you signed up under Sam Squared for tournaments?" I was like, yeah, that's about the sum of it. And he said, "Me and my girlfriend are both named Jamie and we signed up for tournaments under Jamie Squared." Oh, that's such a random coincidence. Nice. Anyways, yeah. So if you're Jamie Squared from, I don't recall, in the US, we met. Hi. It was pretty dark out.
Yeah. That's awesome. Dina in the chat there missed Flan Armadillo both times she was down there.
That's tough. Not only did I get to do the Glow tournament there, the girlfriend, she played the short layout as part of her tournament courses. It was one of her two.
Okay.
So I got to caddy her. I didn't actually get to play the long course, but I got to caddy her through it. And for what it's worth, I'm pretty jazzed I didn't have to play it as a tournament round. Right. That seemed like a really extraordinarily punishing course for... I think she was FA3 for that. That was hard and hot and gross and rocky, and everything was getting gouged up, and it just seemed not fun.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I would love to play it non-tournament round, but I know I would just throw a terribly rated round there. So very selfishly, I'm thrilled that it was her course and not mine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's fair.
And talking about when you're throwing disc and getting them all gouged up and stuff, you can end up with some pretty crazy looking discs. And we also know that you are a big fan of discs, and we know you love discs, and we thought we could talk about kind of obscure discs. And maybe where we could start was you were kind enough to share an obscure disc and get us onto that path to start finding them. And what you had done was you'd found a company out of Saskatchewan that was 3D printing discs, and they make probably one of the most overstable approach discs you can get your hands on. Which is a very useful disc in the Chickadee.
The Chickadee, yeah. You got, I know you had.
I am terrible at this camera thing. I am sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm actually holding two.
2-3-0-3.
I have one up on you guys. I selfishly ordered myself a Founders Edition. I am number 7. I have that little bit of yellow writing there that you guys don't.
Oh,
nice. Fun story, at one of my 20-odd tournaments last year, at some point in Lethbridge, I played with Founder number 8. So if you're Founder number 8, hey, I've also met you. These are money discs. I know when I gave them to you, I said I thought they were possibly more overstable than what is listed on them at 2303. I've softened up on that. I think that's pretty money at this point. They feel remarkably similar. Hand feel to me like a Zone or a Harp. That said, I have the old Thumb Track Latitude Sinus, which is 2202 stamped, and it is very similar to that too. I think it's pretty money flight numbers. And like you said, it's 3D printed disc. Weird story how I found them in our good old home Edga Discord.
Yes.
Yeah.
There had been some comment about, I don't recall, I think it was one of the EV7 putters that had flight numbers were just 4 zeros. And there was questions like, is that an approved disc? And, I'm unfortunately a disc nerd. So I was like, I'd like to actually know the answer to that question. So I went to the PDGA's website, which handily has very searchable technical specifications for every approved disc. You can just plug in the name of whatever, right? And so I think I plugged in the manufacturer and didn't find it. But when you hit the PDGA splash page in the bottom left corner, I think it's the 5 most recent approvals for either baskets or discs. And I happened to notice the Chickadee by Grassland Discs.
Right.
And so I had not too distantly in the past at that point, I think a few months previously, I had a rather hot and irritating vacation to Grasslands National Park in southern Saskatchewan. And I sort of thought to myself, like, hey, geez, is there something there? Is that just a fun coincidence, or is this a Canadian disc company? And this was a ways back, so I think you guys were still pretty early on in life, and I thought to myself that, it was potentially an opportunity for you guys to, have some CanCon basically. So I wound up reaching out to the company, which was out of Saskatoon.
Okay.
There was nothing for sale at the time.
Yeah.
So I emailed them and they got back to me, and essentially I got stuck on a mailing list. Like, hey, when it's for sale or pre-sale or what have you, we'll let you know. Like, sweet. So it came up. It came up for sale. I ordered the 4 of them, the Founders for myself, which came with a T-shirt, and then the 3 others. My girlfriend Sam got one. You guys both got one. And they're money discs. I've actually bagged it a number of times. When I am going somewhere windy, I like it for a overstable approach disc rather than like a putter.
Right.
I will say the winter is hard to bag a white disc, so I haven't. But jokes on my girlfriend, I do have this all white one still, quote unquote hers.
Right.
She said I could dye it, so I'm going to dye it. Unless someone tells me like number 7 TPU like this is just like straight up not going to work.
Right.
Well,
and even then, you've got like maybe a day tops. Yeah, like if Dina wants to let us.
Yeah, Dina should be able to weigh in. What do you think, Dina? Do you think Sam can dye a TPU 7 plastic?
I'm looking over here. I'm watching chat, so it definitely doesn't look like I'm looking at my camera.
Right. Recycled plastic, Dina. 3D printed.
I imagine it'll take dye. It's interesting too, because like you guys can tell, right? This top is textured differently than a normal run of the mill like extruded or whatever plastic disc that.
Well, I'm just looking at that.
Would traditionally have
like the stamp on it, like the design on it. Do you think that's 3D printed in the plastic?
I believe they used at least a 2-color printer head, which you can definitely do.
Neat.
But it just seems like that. Like
Errol, you wouldn't have got one because I don't think you joined Winter League last year. But Jeremy, you would have got a Winter League bag tag last year, right?
Yeah, that's right. From Dylan's
fellow mod Dylan's brother, Tie-Dye Designs. That I believe has 4 colors.
Okay. Yeah, it did. I do remember that.
It's currently on my growing wall of disc golf tchotchkes that I'm sure we all have at this point.
But I think the only reason I'm saying it is because like, when you take like a bag tag where you're going to do a raised portion, or like even on the back, like the actual on the back, you can feel like it's raised, it's indented. You can feel like, okay, the nozzle kind of switched over. Yeah. The way that it's so smooth. It almost looks like it's just been printed on. It doesn't, I don't know how that would, and even if you look at the design,
I actually have a 3D printer. Corners. And there are ways you can run like the nozzle head over a disc after it's finished, like, or over whatever surface. I shouldn't say disc, but like after and not actually run any filament out. And what you're basically doing is ironing it.
Oh, okay.
And I wonder if this is maybe a byproduct of that, or if potentially what they did was rather than 2-color printing, there's actually 3, and maybe they have a layer of clear TPU over top to finish that blend.
Right.
I'm honestly, I'm just guessing.
If you have
the stamp is definitely like, no, I don't believe it's dyed, especially when you consider these are very obviously 3D printed with a separate color. So I assume that the top of this is a function of ironing. I could be wrong.
Well, I think in the chat there says that she usually consults a dye chart.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what I would say is
give it a go, Sam, and let us know what it turns out like.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst is I get a disc I still can't throw in winter, so it is what it is.
There you go.
Well, I look at it and I was impressed because, you watch Jonathan from Latitude 64 when he does his homemade discs that he does.
Oh my goodness gracious me. I considered a wooden disc right up until I saw his video, and I was like, oh, never again. People have tried and failed, and I have no interest in going down that road. But I will say, that guy in his forged disc and buying like a blacksmith glove off of YouTube just to throw it, that was truly special.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, you got to check it out. It's funny because then he gets the pro to play with a bag of his discs versus him with his own, and almost loses, doesn't he? It gets close.
Johannes might beat him, honestly.
But what I was going to say with that was I was impressed because for a 3D printed disc, and only for me with the other items I've seen 3D printed, I'm like, this thing is going to smash or break or something like that. Yeah, like that's what we thought. This thing isn't going to hold up, but like we've thrown it enough times that.
But Like
I can attest to the durability of this disc. I agree. I'll go farther than you guys. Hopefully it doesn't break. Just prove me wrong, right
exactly.
now.
Wow.
But I will say, when I got my invite to Austin, I won it at Penicum in Lethbridge. There's an NADGT down there that Noah and his mom put on. I threw this OB on one of the shots, and it was immediately run over by a City of Lethbridge truck. And for the longest time, there's tire tracks on it, which have since worn away. But if you're looking for a testament to durability, there it is. It was run over. It didn't remotely seem to affect it. This still throws approximately the same as the day I got it in the mail. It's lovely and beefy and reliable, and it can be forehanded or backhanded or thumbered or tomahawked or grenaded. Quite frankly, you can do a lot of stuff with this disc. Like I say, I hope the die turns out because I'd love to bag it through winter.
I'm surprised you say that it's true to numbers of 2303 because maybe you've got a faster arm than me, but whenever I've thrown it, it's super beefy.
It's dumpy, yeah, but I mean, like I say, no different than some of the beefier 2-3 speed putters I have.
Zones
and even then, flight numbers, we can go down that rabbit hole. But I have some outright liar discs I was actually going to touch on here in my random and odd underrated discs.
Well, why don't we get over to that?
Well, I just want to mention two things. One, again, in the chat, Dina had a friend that, mentioned to her that he successfully dyed base plastic. And we mentioned before talking to Dina that base plastic's very hard to dye. Using a super concentrated dye with lotion.
It really is hard to dye.
I left it on for a week. So, I mean, a week, normally when you're talking about leaving dye on, it's like 24 hours, 48 at most. If he left it on for a week to try and get that dye to adhere to that base plastic. Second thing I wanted to mention, Sam, if you go back to a previous episode, Dina actually left you a comment, but I think you were in Belize. I don't know if you've seen it, but
probably.
She mentioned
2 weeks ago,
give her a message and she'll let you know what she uses for the Scarlet Red. Because I know we brought that up before.
Flame Scarlet. Oh, my nemesis.
Exactly. So
I have just never got that to work, and I keep going back to that well, like I'm gonna figure it out. Like it's just the definition of madness. I don't know what is wrong with that dye. I've changed the mixtures. I've used more of it. I feel like my next step is just to like grab it on a cotton swab and straight up rub it into the plastic. I don't know where else to go at this point.
Dina will tell you.
We
can find out which.
Message.
We can find out
I don't know if you can do that through
episode it was
through YouTube or not. If not, get a hold of these guys and they'll get a hold of me.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And then I guess with that, why don't we hit the obscure disc? So I was thinking, and I think I should start here, Sam, because I really don't have an obscure bag and I'm really interested to see what you're going to pull out. But for me, my two probably most obscure discs that I've gotten are the ones that I got in my most recent Trash Panda disc swap. So of course I've got the Chickadee that you gave me, but I had asked for kind of like a shorter approach, a bit of an overstable type disc, and they're not crazy, but I got this Rhino that I was saying to Daryl.
Nice. I want one of those.
Yeah. It's the best disc ever.
So Josh was all
right, maybe not ever, but
Josh was great, but
it's up there. It's up there.
Yeah, and Daryl was the one who was throwing it first. And with the numbers 2103, you were finding this to be a crazy straight flyer.
So Jeremy, obviously, and I think everyone will know, message Dina on Instagram. But Sam's not on social media, Dina, so we'll figure it out.
We'll make it. I'll send up some smoke signals. We'll figure something out here. It'll actually be me burning down my garage with acetone and dying.
There you go. Everybody knows that I'm an Innova thrower. I only throw Innova. So you got that disc, and you're like, here, try this Rhino out. So 2103, I was thinking it may be a little bit dumpy at the end. I threw it, and it was a laser beam. And obviously, it's a beat-in.
It's beat-in.
It's our Pro Plastic. But when I threw it, it was a laser beam, and it was so dead straight, and I couldn't believe it. And I thought maybe I just got lucky on that throw. But then I threw it again on another hole, and it was just like, then Jeremy was kind of like, okay, well, what am I going to do to get this disc back now? Because I think I've kind of lost it.
But give it straight up without ever touching it. I
felt bad, so yeah. So
he got his own.
So now I went out and got my own Rhino. But this isn't beat-in. This is brand new, and I haven't thrown it in anger yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it flies. I'm hoping that it flies as straight as yours.
That'd be good. And then my last, if I just hit it quick, was my last obscure disc was from that same pack. This is a brand new, never thrown disc that I got in my Trash Panda disc swap. So again, props to Josh.
Yeah.
is I got a pig, but it's a sexy berry,
Big sexy
pig. So to me,
Is
I'm
that like Halo Star too?
It feels, I don't know, what would you call that? You're the Innova plastic guy.
Yeah, Mr. Innova. What
No,
plastic is that?
I think it's
like R Pro or
It's
something.
almost a little swirly.
It's not R Pro, but it might be like KC Pro, or like it's grippy.
I thought like premium runs of pigs were extremely limited up until they just did that pig
to the pig packs.
thing. Yeah. And now there's just a regular run of Star pigs out. I think you can get your hands on for a lot cheaper.
Oh, it's XT plastic. It says right there on the back. It's XT. Which is funny because my XT animal feels nothing like that one.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's how I got my obscure discs. That's what I got.
For what it's worth, I think Kevin King might have mentioned it. There's a guy in BC who has just an enormous pig collection, and his name's Mark Wilk.
Yeah.
Right.
If he doesn't have it, you might be able to sell it to him if you're not going to throw it, or just give it to Daryl. Plastic meant to do things.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. I think also too, Kevin Pattison is a big pig thrower as well.
There's a few out there. My buddy Dave Bell putts with a pig, and throws approach shots with them. I actually have one of the Soft Pro pigs on my shelf there, but it has a cute little piggy stamp, and I basically refuse to throw it because I'm just going to wreck it.
See, some of us like to keep discs for just.
Yep, I got keepers.
We have discs, we keep them. We don't throw every disc, Jeremy.
All right.
Some people are like that.
Well, I figure we need to go through from me because mine is a very basic obscure. Yours is going to be slightly more obscure, and then I want to see what Sam is. So why don't you hit us with yours quick?
Okay, so I'll go from my least obscure. Well, I guess my least obscure disc, but it's kind of an obscure stamp, would be my Gateway Wizard. But it's only because it's got the 09 Edgar stamp on it that I want it. Hidden gem. What was it?
Wally's 100.
Wally's 100. I got the 09 Edgar. So I'm like, that's a piece of history, right?
Yeah.
I should be donating.
Definitely
that
wasn't
Edgar.
disc golfing in 09.
No, exactly.
But that said, Wizards are great putters too. That's money putter all day long.
But it's got no name, no stamp, no.
And even
it was only the fact that we, even Wally couldn't remember what it was. We had to ask around, and it was trying to find somebody who was in Edgar at the time to find out what discs these were. But we found out in the end it was a Gateway Wizard.
Yeah.
Well, that means you can get your buddy Kevin to sign it. Cardinal there, he's Gateway, right?
Yeah.
Gateway discs. There you go.
Yeah.
Signature disc. Money.
That will be how we get him to Edmonton, get him to Canada.
It's similar to a pig, but my other obscure disc would be my XT Animal. Now, I got the animal because I just wanted to try it and see what the numbers. It was 2101, so I wanted a kind of a straight approach disc. But when I got this XT plastic, you felt it. It feels like
it feels base.
It's very hard base plastic. Like I don't like the XT feel, but your XT doesn't feel anything like this XT.
Yeah. I've seen that, I guess, in runs of more base Innova plastics. I have a few, quote unquote DX that can feel completely differently. Like they're not the same plastic. You couldn't tell me that. Like I will not buy that bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that one is one. But then the most obscure disc that I probably have is not even my disc, but I got given it and I haven't given it back yet. It's a Discraft test flight, but it's the
Bang Zone.
It's the Zone Banger, the Zanger.
Yeah.
I
got a pack of those actually.
Right.
Northwest League last year. Those are fun.
They did the run of like the what do you call them?
I had actually briefly thought about including those on my list of obscure discs, but I figured Discraft had enough name cachet that it wouldn't be worth bringing up. My hot take on those is the ring top is way better than the bang top, especially if
that was
talk about throwing a forehand.
The banger, yeah.
And
the banger got approved first, but the ringer's money. I'd way rather. I don't particularly care for either of them. I'm sorry, Zone fans. I'm a harp guy, and I'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
But if I was going to throw one, it would be the ring top, not the bang top.
Well, I think that was the perfect lead into Sam's disc because Sam
let's do this. I got some obscure discs.
He has that one, so you had a disc that Sam has. So what do you got, Sam?
So I was going to start with, and there are some brands that don't really need plugging here, but
I guess that's where
molds that I don't run into in the wild a lot, right? Like you never see someone pull these out, and I guess an extension of that is when I've pulled them out because I take weird discs and throw them. People say like, "Oh, I've only ever seen that in Disc Golf Valley or like on websites or whatever."
Yeah.
So one thing I started bringing with me on vacations. And it came down to Belize with me, and I threw it a bunch on the beach a couple different times with Sam, is the Latitude Beetle.
Yeah.
Pitch, glitch, parachute throwers. Watch out. This is the same flight numbers ostensibly. It's 17 neg 10.
How does it fly though?
It is probably 17 neg 1 neg 1.
Okay.
It holds whatever you put it on. It'll hyzer or flip up with pretty much no energy. It's a great catch disc. Like, it really makes you work on your flicking it rather than throwing it, right?
Yeah.
It's not something I would. Oh, also, it's super lightweight. Like, it's 146 grams. 143
Oh, wow.
grams,
yeah. So like those original glitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the same rim feel. Like, it's blunter in my opinion. Like, I have somewhere over. Damn it, there they are, right here. Pitches and glitches and parachutes, and they're kind of harder, I find, when I'm catching them, especially sort of in like the palm of my hand sort of thing. This is a lot softer and givier. It's bio gold plastic, so it's recycled for all those trash panda guys.
Yeah.
It's a fun catch disc. I would strongly recommend.
Would you ever bag it? Because a lot of people bag glitches and parachutes and pitches. Would you bag?
I've considered it. It was too. I would. I absolutely would. If I knew it wasn't going to be windy and I was playing like a short technical course, I would totally throw this. I can't remember. Like, it went down to Belize with me, right? So, great. Two things. You can fit another disc inside of it, so you can you don't have to worry about wasting a space in your bag. Like, it fits, right? So, like, freebie, total freebie, especially when you're doing it like me and you're just flying with carry on. I wouldn't throw it in winds, but I may have thrown it in Belize at the tournament. If not, then I did at Graham's course. Into a casual round, just because I had played with it a bit now, and I'm getting a little confident with it. And you just, instead of picturing like the basket out in front of me, I just picture throwing it at my girlfriend, which sounds terrible.
But we know what you mean.
Yeah. And it's just playing catch with the basket, right?
Yeah.
I would absolutely, especially if we have in Edmonton last year, we had the Berg tournament. I've heard talk of it potentially becoming a one speed wonder type tournament.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would absolutely bring it out for something like that. I might have to argue to make that tournament a 1 and 2 speed tournament though, because the range would be a lot of fun to throw against the Berg. I got to be honest. But also, I have another catch disc that Daryl actually mentioned. You guys had him on when he was down in Mexico.
Yeah, you said in that episode when he said that he only took his Makani. Yes. I think you said
thanks, Disc Republic. You were sell me more crap.
Yeah.
So they had popped up, I think, a couple days before that interview. Like, I was already sort of vaguely aware of them. And I was thinking, like, oh, that'd be fun, like another Beetle style disc. And then he's like, oh, this is the only disc I travel with. Like, well, okay, that's a pretty good sales pitch. Like, let's be realistic, right? Like, that is probably a money statement. So I decided if Disc Republic still had discs or Makanis when I got back from Belize, I'd pull the trigger on one. Of course they did. And here it is. I threw it. I got it on Monday, actually. I threw it yesterday at Dog Rump. With Briggsy pre-losing more discs. I really enjoyed what I got out of it. I thought it was fun. It had a bit of flip up. It's definitely, so I think the flight numbers are 27 minus 20. I don't know if those are official because Innova's website didn't list them like that. I only saw that at like sales outlets.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say the Beetle was flippier, but that just could be a function of this is an enormous disc, by the way. Like, this is a mid-range.
Wow.
I'm holding the mid-range sort of at this, like, this disc is about 9.5 inches from like nose to nose, not underneath to underneath, but like nose to nose. It's 9.5 inches.
Right.
It is very, very big. And I weighed it. It was quite lightweight. But also, Daryl, you talk about, weird feeling plastics. This is DX plastic, and it feels nothing like any other DX disc I have ever felt.
Right.
So, I mean, plastic. Who knows? I am not an expert in those.
It's interesting though, because that disc is not. I don't know anyone who's bagging a Makani. A Makani is just it's a beach. It's a beach throw disc.
So actually, I thought about that, like, because it is PDGA approved. You, in theory, could that disc in tournament play. I know that at some point in the PDGA says this pre-me having a PDGA number, but there was some push to have superclass tournaments back in the day. The Makani is approved as a superclass disc, I believe, so you would be able to throw it in one of those style of tournaments.
Right.
That said, I thought about throwing it, like in terms of Dog Rump, and first off, the more wide your disc is, simply the less fairway you have, right? Like, I don't want to give that 1.5 inches up. and not just in that facet of my life, unfortunately. But like it's DX plastic too. Like I don't want to wang that into a tree, or I don't even really want to hit chains with it because I'd like to actually use it as a catch disc on the beach. So,
right.
Yeah, I would use it sparingly. If maybe in an open field type thing as an approach shot, it could be a lot of fun, but I would be hesitant to put that into any real use and abuse type situation.
Well, two reasons. One, are you really going to waste a spot just for that one upshot on that in that?
I mean,
open
I
field?
would.
Well, I mean, yeah, you took the Beetle down to Belize. I wouldn't have thought you would have taken that down with you. But
and I mean, when we talk wasting spots, discs fit inside the Makani. I make that argument again. That's a freebie, man.
I was going to say, you put that 9-inch disc in your bag. Is it even going to fit? You're going to have all these nice discs, and then one that's sticking right up out of anywhere.
Well, I think
like Dina said in the chat, it looks almost as big as an Ultra Star.
I think what you do
is it probably is. Yeah. I just shoved it in. It does fit in my MVP shuttle bag, just for what that's worth.
Yeah. I was going to say, take your Makani and go to Haute Goat and go to hole number 1 and say, hey, Daryl, call to Daryl Banks, say, hey, I'm just going to tee off here on hole 1. And as soon as he sees that, I think your round's free at that point, isn't it?
Get laughed off the course. There's only 2 options, free round or embarrassed. I don't see it. I mean, probably both, honestly, for me. Even if I get that free round, I'm not throwing a good shot with it. That's what it is.
There you go.
What else you got, Sam?
A couple other interesting discs I found. I spend a lot of time on the internet. I kickstarted, you may have seen these floating out and about, the ocean discs, marine waste plastics. My camera and lighting is atrocious. I got, I've actually given a few of these away at this point. I sent a couple out as prizes at the end of last year's Northwest League, and then I gave away a couple in the trash pan to give away. Right, I kickstarted a few of them. So I have them in 3 different plastics. This is the Ocean Waste Pacific. Again, a 60% ocean waste blend, 5501, slightly more premium. They're stamped as having different stabilities, but I'm not sure I buy that. And then I have it in more premium. This might be a little hard to see. Yeah. So unfortunately, this one doesn't include ocean waste plastic. This is just regular old disc plastic, but it's still got the same numbers, 5501.
Right.
Hand feels kind of like a Mako, but it's definitely got more stability. I really like them. I was working with it before I went down to Belize, but I went sort of with more discs that I know for Belize, so it came out of the bag for that. Might go back in. I like the touch of understability that the Marine one has. And, like that's a great sort of sustainable disc sort of thing to get into. Recycled plastic, especially plastic coming out of the ocean. Like, it is what it is.
Is that the only mold they have?
So, as of right now, I believe they actually just tried to have one approved and it failed approval because I saw a prototype for sale of something called, I want to say, a flying fish. And they were very open about it failing PDG approval and it just sort of being a prototype disc that they were going to work on. So,
Interesting.
But I did notice when I was looking into that, they have a couple of different plastics that weren't on offer when I kickstarted. I think the 2 new plastics both were marine blends, not 100%. Anyways, throw Ocean Turtle. They're nice discs, and they're pretty. Even if you don't care about the plastic thing, they're pretty discs, and they feel actually really good in the hand.
Yeah.
Another disc I have, if you follow or watch Bedanza on YouTube, he did a review of these not too long ago. Meridian discs. They're actually kind of similar looking plastic to those sea turtles, but hand feels remarkably different. They have a number of molds. I found these when I was down in Texas at the NADGT. They are a brand, if not from Austin, then it's a Texas brand. I didn't bring that slot down with me for some dumb reason. I can't remember why. Anyways, I threw it once and it was like, oh, this is in the bag forever. It sort of settled an argument I'd been having between my Compass and Trust for a long time. Just like player 3's entered the ring, right? Like brought the chair with them, smacked them both in the head. Fight was over. Yeah. The plastic, I love the hand feel of that hard plastic. It's called Marbled Claris. They had a few molds in it. I think they had 5 or 6 molds total, but I want to say only 4 in that plastic. I regret not buying more. Is what it is. I've been bugging Wildman a little bit to maybe try and become a retailer for them. So we'll see if that gets some traction.
Yeah.
Another brand disc I don't see get a lot of love. This has some fresh, authentic Belizean mud on it. It's AGL, above ground level. This might be hard to see because it's red on red. It's a Locust.
AGL. Yeah.
Flight number
flight number? Yeah.
94-13. So, and they call it fairway driver at that speed.
Okay. Yeah.
I love this disc. I bought it for $5 from JK. Had them on clearance. That is quite possibly the best $5 I've ever spent on a disc. I only managed to get the one of them, and I really, if I lose this, I'm tracking down. However much it costs me, I am tracking down another one. It is a money fairway driver. When I got it, it was kind of dumpy and meat hooky. I don't know if I, beat it in, throwing it into trees or what have you, or my technique improved, or probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But now it's great. Like, it'll hold a turnover line and fight out. You can hyzer flip it up a bit for tighter shots. And generally you can just bomb with it. Like, I get that north of 300 feet for, my noodle arm pretty regularly.
Nice.
And like I say, I don't run into a ton of AGL out in reality. Right. I think they're a decent brand. I didn't buy it direct from AGL, but I think they actually include the seeds of the tree the disc is named after. All their discs are named after. I have a few cedars on the shelf. Your buddy Kevin would know them too. They're produced by Gateway, according to the back of the disc.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And so for you, when you're looking out for discs and that, are you kind of trying, is it almost like being in a record store, I guess, or a CD store in the older days, and kind of like going through everything just to see if you can find that rare one? Is that how you go about picking discs?
That's a good analogy. That's exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure the analogy is apt. However, I will say I haven't spent a ton of time in record stores in my life.
Or CD. I tried to bring it up a little bit in the future.
Okay, there's a small chain in BC that no longer exists called Sight and Sound, and if anyone mentions them, I'll give them one of the unthrown ocean turtle discs.
Nice.
That's the record store I spent time in growing up.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I think for the most part, I see like, ooh, I've never heard of that. That's new candy. Got to try it, right?
Here's another question, kind of on the same topic as that. Are you going to Disc Republic, Wildman, BR, wherever you're looking? Are you looking through discs on the website and you're looking at them? Oh, I don't have that plastic. I don't have that mold. Or are you doing that disc, the vinyl analogy of flicking through, picking it up, getting it in your hand, feeling what the plastic like? Are you more of a tactile buyer, or is it just it's a new disc? I don't know
at this point.
Yeah.
If I'm familiar with the mold, so for example, like a harp, I throw those in a bunch of different plastics. I'm pretty confident that I could buy one in whatever plastic and have pretty good understanding of how it's going to fly. There's nuance between each plastic and their stability. Or just nuance between each time I throw a disc, what have you.
Yeah.
That said, I think I could still trust and expect that. There are some brands, like if I'm not familiar with something, I'm less inclined to buy it like unfelt. And one of my best example of that is actually, I have some great options for noodle arms that want a hyzer flip. This I am going to curate just the worst disc selection anyways. Innova Mirage. Signed by Bradley Williams here. He stole my Sharpie, by the way. I might have mentioned that before. 3-4 neg 3-0. You can hyzer flip this sucker for days, or you can just throw it fairly straight if you suck at throwing like me. The great disc keeps turning forever. That definitely didn't stay on the table. It's Equin Zhao. I bought this off of Terry Hong, actually. This thing is money hyzer flip.
Okay.
Again, very, very understable. And you can see that by touching it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or just looking at this, like if you get this in your hand, like it's domey, it's going to turn. The reason I don't like buying discs based on just flight numbers and sight unseen anymore is this guy right here. It's Viking Cosmos.
Okay.
So Viking decided at some point that they were going to have 2 sets of flight numbers for all their discs. And the number they stamp on the disc is the beginner numbers. Right. So this is stamp 7501. It is the most understable disc I might actually own. If you need, like, if you consider yourself like a small distance arm and you want like something that'll hyzer flip, go find one of these. The flight numbers are lying to you.
Gotcha.
Absolutely incorrect. They're advanced flight numbers. I don't know if you can actually see those air quotes. They're advanced flight numbers. I think are 75 neg 21, and I'd still say that's generous. That thing is just ridiculous. The flip side of that, for overstable discs, if you want something that you could never in a million years sizer flip, they have a Viking Loki, same brand. Flight numbers are more trustworthy. I think their advanced flight numbers are 4203. This is stamped 4204.
Okay.
It's actually a really good approach disc, though. I've thrown this quite a bit. I bought a second one in case I lost it. You can throw it upside down if you want it to be even more beefy.
Oh.
And another company I think maybe a lot of people don't see or hear of, Brodiscus. I have a Troya here. This is flight numbered 53+14.
Okay.
You could get water to stay in the top plate, much like a Berg.
Right.
Yeah, it's dumpy, like borderline unusable for me. Dumpy. Yeah, I don't. I've worked with it a couple times. I was throwing it on that one dumpy left hole at Rundle. I'm terrible with Rundle's numbers because I started there and the construction layout and everything just got boggled and I never fixed it.
Yeah.
So it's towards 9 or just after 9. Doesn't matter. And then 2 honorable mentions. I have a mint freetail and a mint lobster. There is absolutely nothing special about these discs other than that Sam and I got to run the stamping machine at Mint Discs headquarters.
Oh yeah.
We were down there for an AGT again. So many things we did down there, but they had the disc stamp party, which I think they do rather commonly.
Oh.
And I think that I don't think that stamp is a stamp you can get commonly. So
right.
Yeah, we got a couple of those. That was a lot of fun seeing, how to choose foils, how to run a stamp machine, asking the guy questions, and, talking to a guy that pumps out 10,000 stamps a day is, you think it's a neat job right up until you hear the guy doing it, talking about it. And it's like, oh yeah, this is just go punch your card at the office, get your 8 hours and then go home. There comes a point where like, yeah, it's another mint disc lobster. I mean, it's a great disc, but like, yeah, that's your day is just buttons, stamp, buttons, stamp, buttons, stamp.
Yeah.
I see that. Did someone asked if I'd thrown Lone Star.
Kevin in the chat.
Kevin,
there.
I've thrown some Lone Star. I have a Frio, a Mad Cat, and a Horny Toad. Fine. I like them. They're not something I bag at this point. I was working with the Mad Cat quite a bit, but I'm trying out a few other discs in that slot, and the Frio I absolutely mangled, and it no longer flies the way I like it to fly. That's on me, not the disc. And the Lone Star I got as a player pack disc down in Texas, and I don't throw it a whole bunch. I threw it at that tournament because, again, didn't bring a harp, and it's basically a harp. So I threw it there some, and then it's on the shelf because it's a clear metal flake plastic, and you can't see it in winter.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
Well, what I'm really realizing here, Daryl, with all of this is that we always come into these episodes, Sam, we're like, are we going to have enough to talk about with what we've got going on? And we got more than enough, almost so much that I'm wondering if it's going to be, we need like disc golf corner with Sam Western. And just have like a quick 10-minute disc golf.
If there's one person that knows about discs, obscure discs, and flight numbers, even though flight numbers don't matter, but yeah, Sam's. Oh, I don't know why you're downplaying yourself, Sam. You are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to different types of discs and different
unmodern stuff. Sure, I've gone down a few rabbit holes. Okay, you can pin that one on me. I'll accept that.
Well, now what we're going to do is we're going to test some of that knowledge, just so know, Daryl. Is in my disc golf Jeopardy.
He's the king of the segues.
So I've got our disc golf Jeopardy game set up. Now, the one thing that this is more for Daryl, Sam, than it probably is for you, is when these questions come up, you got to come up with an answer relatively quick. We're going to alternate back and forth. If one person doesn't get the answer, the other person can guess it. And then if it's now their turn, they're going to pick the next question. So Daryl's going to go and get our game here for us.
You can open this up.
You can open it up. And we're going to see. And really right now what happened was Daryl went against Colleen. And Colleen won? She won. Because Dina was our first one, right?
I think, yes.
So you had one against Dina. Colleen won against you. So you're 1 for 1. So Sam, you're going to put this either in favor of the guests, or Daryl's going to be on a high all week talking about how he won Disc Golf Jeopardy.
Well, hopefully you keep these Jeopardy games going, so it'll be a running total for me. So gotcha. if I lose this one, I can come back next week.
I when I played a hole with Gannon Burr in Texas, he talked to our card after. He said, figure out what the worst thing that could happen to you on a hole is, and then just don't do that. So I thought about this when Jeremy, you said we're going to do a little Jeopardy, and I thought, I don't want to get any trivia about my girlfriend Sam wrong. So I have studied her PDGA page a little, and on the off chance that's one of the categories, I plan on not failing there.
Is that
and
one of the categories?
I
That's
hope
not
not.
one of the
I honestly hope
categories,
not.
but
I'm still not confident. But that's the way my mind took to this. I said, that's the one thing. I'm terrible at this sort of thing. So I'm going to study one thing. It's my girlfriend's page. I know hers better than mine at this point.
Well, there you go.
Well,
That
you got
was
me
good.
beat on that because I think if I beat you in that category, Sam, then there's something wrong.
I am rewriting
exactly
Final
right.
Jeopardy right now.
Oh, goodness gracious me.
Welcome,
Watch
Dylan.
it not be relevant, so that's all right. We'll get through this. I'm not afraid of failing spectacularly. Just the spectacular part is the important thing, not the failure.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so why don't we show up the screen here and see what the questions are? Oh, before that?
Just before that, Dylan's in the chat here now. He wishes YouTube notified better. Is YouTube membership a thing ever? It will be, but we have to get a lot more subscribers and watch time.
It's
and
so
everything
janky.
Like
I've been on YouTube for years and I don't get reliable notifications that I sign up for. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I actually set an alarm clock for you guys. Like, go watch Chain Out because it's more reliable than YouTube is.
Well, we appreciate that for sure.
Sorry, and then Dean, just quickly, did Lone Wolf happen at NADGT again?
It did when I went in November, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kevin mentioned about it.
Gavin Burr, Gavin Babcock, Alden Harris, Ezra, and Isaac Robinson. It was good.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah, because I think if I remember right, Kevin actually did really well in the Lone Wolf, got to the end, didn't he? Was that the one where it was, or was that not that's the knockout one?
That was with Jay Redding after the fact.
That was the King of the
I
Hill or something like that.
Yeah, that was for like the tournament organizers,
Stick
if I
to
recall
Jeopardy,
correctly.
Jamie.
All right, sticking to Jeopardy. All right, let's get back to her.
Let's get it.
So let's take a look at the board, and I'm going to read out some questions for you and give you a little bit of information. I just got to
click anywhere, right?
Click anywhere on this one.
This.
So what we have is we have PDGA Canada Province Coordinators. So you're going to see the name of a coordinator, and you're going to need to tell me what province they belong to.
Okay.
Canadian A tiers, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, okay.
I don't need to tell you everything.
No, just tell us the subjects, and then when we get the questions.
Alberta's top 5 courses according to disc golf scene.
Okay. Not Anthony Barella's. Okay.
No. And then Alberta's top 5 courses according to UDisc. And then the last one is obscure discs. So Daryl, since you won last time, I think Sam gets to start.
I lost last time, but that's okay.
No, you lost last time. Okay,
that's
so
okay.
no,
go ahead, Sam. You're the guest. You can pick a category and pick a.
All right. Well, let's get the show on the road and start with Canadian A tiers through 500. Alex.
Canadian A tiers for 500. Victoria Park Valley and Eastview Park.
Uh-oh. I already don't know this. What is the BC Open?
It is not the BC Open. Daryl, do you have a guess? Starting right at the hard. And I made the hard ones hard, and I made the easy ones easy.
Good. Is this 2025 or 2024?
Well, it's whatever we have available to us. So most of them, if there wasn't a 2025 announced yet, then I use 2024. But if 2025 is announced, I use 2025. Oh. And sometimes they don't change. In the case of this one, it won't change.
Because okay. Okay, well let's go the other side then. Let's go. What is the diameter open? Discmania open?
No, you are both incorrect. The answer would be Ontario Provincials this year. That's how hard it was. You had to actually be right into that one and be watching the A tiers. That's where Ontario Provincials is going to be held this year.
You could have picked any city in Canada and told me those parks were there, and I would have believed you wholesale.
Exactly.
All right, Daryl. So where are you going to go next?
Well, seeing as Sound came out with a big hitter, let's go. Let's go. Alberta's top 5 courses according to disc golf scene for 500.
Ooh, okay. So when you see this, Rocky Lane Fairways and Recreation in Athabasca, what was it ranked out of the top 5?
Oh, that's the way this question goes.
Well, you said don't tell you until it shows up.
Rocky Lane Fairways is in the top 5.
And this is in
Alberta.
I gotta say I'm a little surprised about that too.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say 5.
Well, no, 5 is incorrect. Sam?
What is 4?
Okay, well, let's take a look and see.
Wow.
First.
Color me shocked.
So just so that everyone
hate on the
knows,
course, but
two players have chosen two $500 word or guess or questions.
Okay, I should have cleared this up. Do I actually owe you guys money at this point? Should I clean up my act a little here and play safe?
Well, this is good because sometimes you've had the 500 and they've been really easy. But you've got it working now. The 500 questions they're hard. So
on Disc Golf Scene,
it's not as well traveled as UDisc. Those could be some really different results.
Yeah, I think that's why he's got
put
them
both.
Yeah. Okay, back to you, Sam.
That's very interesting. Oh my goodness. A tiers 400.
A tiers 400. Eddyville DGC.
Oh god. Oh.
I've heard that name.
Well, you got a leg up on me because I haven't heard that. Oh geez. What's an A tier? Harvest Huck, and I know that's wrong.
It is not Harvest Huck. Daryl?
I'm going to say, what is Eastern Ontario AMS?
I'm going to give that one to you, but please check it off there. Eastern Canadian Amateur Nationals. Yes, we got a chance. It's always out in Eddyville, or it's always at Bourget, I believe. So Daryl is on the board with $400. And Daryl, you have the board.
100. Let's be real. He got a 500.
I stop at 0, so we're okay that way.
My bank
okay, let's go. AB top 5 courses disc golf scene for 400.
Okay. Hinton disc golf course.
Ooh.
And I think with these ones, because I do not exactly remember their order, we might have to just take both your guesses and then see who got it right. Yeah.
Hey, that's fair.
I'm going to say, what is third?
Okay. And then Sam, give us just a backup just in case.
My provisional will be fourth.
Okay. And what do we have?
Fifth.
So there you go. So we've got, I'll keep track for you guys to help it out because somebody's going to get lucky at the end there, is that first and fifth are now knocked out. So Rocky Lanes for disc golf scene is first. Hinton was fifth. Okay. So it goes back to Sam.
A tiers for 300.
A tiers for 300. Solstice Disc Golf Park.
Hey, another thing I don't know. That sounds Yukon-y. What was that tournament up in the Yukon? Is that larger than life?
Bing, 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 bing.
What is larger than life?
Yes, you have gotten yourself on the board with $300.
Yeehaw, let's go.
Good job, now we got a game. Now it's not 0-0. It's 400 to 300. Go ahead, Daryl.
AB courses for disc golf scene 300.
300, okay. South Bear Creek in Grand Prairie.
I'm going to say, what is second?
Okay, and the provisional, Sam?
Third.
Okay, let's see who's got that one. Fourth.
Oh, goodness. Race to the bottom on this one.
Yeah, first, fourth, and fifth have been guessed in that. So it goes back to you, Sam.
A tiers 2.
A tiers for 200 for Nicholas Sharon and Aperture Park.
And that's this year?
Both.
What is spring runoff?
Yes, that's correct. So that's $200. You are now in the lead by 100 at 500 to 400.
Let's go.
Go for 200, same category.
You're going back to there. Okay, Canmore Nordic Center. The guesses that are left are second and third.
It's got to be what is second.
Okay, and now provisional would be.
Yeah, I don't have much of a choice on that one.
Okay. Second. All right. So Daryl goes up to 600, and it's 600 to 500.
So for the freebie, obviously I'm going to take 100 of the disc golf scene courses, and I'm going to go ahead and say third before you read the question.
All right. Well, let's see what third was.
Aspen Meadows. Really?
Yeah, and they considered it east and west in this one.
Oh,
yeah, but I'm surprised that was third.
Well, what's awesome now is that we're tied at 600 to 600.
Oh, come on.
Very excited.
Next time you do it, don't have a 1 to 5.
Well, you guys were the ones who decided to work your way from the highest to the lowest. It could have worked out a lot better.
Canadian A tiers for 100.
For 100. Okay. Project 15, Haute Goat, Newcastle, Cedar Creek.
What is Canadian Nationals?
You're like sighing on me. Of course, I had to make the easy ones easy. So you've got $700, Daryl. You are correct. And those two columns are now done. We have column 1, column 4, column 5. Sam?
Let's go PDGA coordinators 100.
PDGA coordinators for 100. Jordan Alway, what province?
Alberta. What is Alberta? Where is Alberta? Who is Alberta?
You are correct. We're tied at $700. Daryl.
Okay, well, let's go PDJ Canada province coordinators for 200.
Okay. Kevin King.
Ooh, I think, what is BC?
Tough one.
That is correct. British Columbia is the answer. Daryl, you're up to 900. Back to you, Sam.
Coordinators 3.
Coordinators 300. Chris Oslins.
What is Ontario?
That would be correct, and you are now up to 1,000.
Yeah, educated guessing. Yeehaw.
Coordinators for 400.
Go ahead, Daryl. For 400, Duncan Dixon.
Okay, now we start getting Duncan Dixon. I'm going to have to say, what is Winnipeg?
Winnipeg, that's the province you're choosing?
Manitoba. Sorry. Only because Dean had mentioned Peg earlier. Oh, sorry, what is Manitoba?
Manitoba is incorrect, and so is Winnipeg. Why don't you go ahead there, Sam?
Oh, I love it when you start profiling other Canadians based on last names. Like, how Canadian racist am I? I'm just going to go ahead and say Saskatchewan.
All right, you are both incorrect. I believe the answer will reveal is New Brunswick.
Oh, there you go.
So that goes back to you, Sam.
There's one 4 or the next one?
500, the last one there.
Yeah, let's do it.
For 500.
Dylan in the chat said he's here for the obscure discs.
Well, they're coming.
Just hanging them out there. Jamie Roddick, eh? Uh-oh. I don't know this. So let's go to I'm not going to say Winnipeg, but Manitoba.
Now, just remember one other thing, which I should mention for this.
Okay.
And this is for both of you, so if any of you wants to adjust your guess. Of course, now when the PDGA puts it up, they put coordinators as provinces, but us as good Canadians recognize that we have provinces and territories, but they consider them all provinces.
But
geez, that would have changed my answer.
Would it, Sam?
Yeah, definitely, because I don't think Nunavut or the Northwest Territories actually have one. But I'm fine with taking my L on that one, I'll be honest.
No, well, what would you have said? Would you have said a territory?
I mean, I that's hard to say, right? Like, if you had said, like, the category was now territorial managers, be like, well, that's tougher because you have to guess it on each one. But if the one question was like, this dude doesn't actually run a province, then I'd probably have gotten it. But let's be honest, that's not what this was.
Okay, I'll let you change your mind. I'll change your answer.
I'll own my L.
If you guys can,
Jeremy can't run
if you guys can both guess it, I will split the money between the two of you.
Sounds like this trivia show's in jeopardy. I don't know.
What are you going to say, Sam?
I'm taking Winnipeg or Manitoba or whatever that province is.
And Daryl?
Well, I don't know now because now you're making it sound like it's not going to be.
Oh, goodness. I think Jeremy just successfully got into both of our heads. I think we just both got game, Daryl. That's all this is.
Yeah, exactly.
So
he's like putting out for the win, and he's trying to make us screw up over second and third. Like, come on now.
I'm just going to throw a curveball, and I think Jeremy's trying to wind us up, so I'm going to say PEI.
You're both incorrect. If you take a look, Jamie Roddick is out of the Yukon. So just to settle things up, we have 3 columns done. And we've got Sam with 1,000 and Daryl with 900. Okay. And it's now Daryl's turn to pick. And Daryl, what do you got?
Sorry, Dylan. I'm going to go with UDisc for 500.
So Alberta's top 5 courses on UDisc. Lloyd Park in Calgary. Where did it rank in UDisc?
Oh, on UDisc. I'm going to say 3rd.
Okay, provisional?
5th.
Okay. The answer is 4th.
Oh, another
you
one
guys
of these,
are really good
We're
at
just going to
these.
dance around these. Yeah, that's okay.
Sam, your turn.
I'm not going to leave Dylan waiting. Let's go Obscure Discs 100.
Obscure Discs 100. So what I need to know is I need to know the manufacturer. It's an Alien. It's 2401, and one of the lines from its page is top like a Sonic, rim like a mid-range, surprisingly stable.
Shame on Innova for comparing them to their own molds. It's an Innova.
Yes, so you're at 1,100 to 900. Daryl?
Oh, and a picture as well.
There you go. There's
nice,
a picture
fancy.
of an Innova Alien.
No, I'm going to stick with AB courses for 400.
Okay, AB courses for 400. The Canmore Nordic Center. Where did it rank? And if you want to pick 4th, you will be wrong.
Yes, I'm going to say what is 2nd.
And Sam, provisional?
3rd.
Let's see what the answer is.
Oh.
Third, Sam, you
provisional
take that
takes
one.
it. Woohoo!
So you're at 1,500 now, Sam, and Daryl's at 900. Your choice?
Obscure Discs 200.
Dean of Bags and Alien. Sorry, obscure disc for what? Sorry, Sam?
200.
200.
2.
Frag 5205. Super
Doomsday.
overstable utility mid-range. I didn't even get the question done or the answer done.
You just need the name.
I went
What
down
is-
a rabbit hole on their website. They have some interesting discs. And you want to talk unique molds, man. Doomsday's got them.
Frag, landmine.
So, Daryl, you're falling behind here. It's 1,700 to
Yeah,
900.
I
What
know.
would you like to do?
Okay, I'm gonna
Just
I'm gonna have
beaking him while he's losing. Come on,
I'm
Jeremy.
gonna have to jump on the bandwagon. I'm gonna go obscure for 500.
Obscure for 500. War Spear 3302. A low-profile putt-and approach disc with a bullet-shaped nose and beadless wing.
I have a feeling Sam is gonna know this. War Spear.
Small possibility.
Yeah. Obscure discs.
Mm-hmm.
Spear.
So you need a manufacturer.
Yeah. Just because Sam brought it up earlier, I'm going to say AGL.
AGL?
What is
and
AGL?
what's your provisional?
I have two manufacturers in my mind, but I want to say, what is Gateway?
All right, let's take a look.
Oh,
You are
Sam.
correct. Gateway, that's going to put you at $2,200 to Daryl's 900, and you have the board.
3 and 4 are available in obscure discs. Is that right?
That's correct.
I'll take 3.
300. Gollum 4204, ultra overstable approach disc designed to stay put with minimal skips and rolls.
I figured I'd let you finish this time. It's Divergent discs.
Yeah.
And the answer is Divergent discs. That is correct. So we're at 2,500. Daryl, it's back to you.
Well, I've got to get the money, so I've got to go 400.
Super Dillo.
Oh, I know this one.
It's a 1-4 minus 3-1. Our newest oversized putt and approach disc holds true to its namesake with its blunt nose rim and raised shoulder.
No, I'm pretty sure, because I think Brendan lent me one of these, or I don't know if it was a Super Dillo that he lent me, or just the Armadillo, but I'm pretty sure it's Lone Star. What is Lone Star?
That would be correct. Daryl,
Kev, get me a line on one of those. I like understable putters. A 1-4 neg 3-0. That sounds money.
And look at that top there too.
Yeah.
Is that the top or is that the bottom? You can't even tell from that
Exactly.
picture.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so we're down to 100, 200, and 300 in the Alberta's top 5 courses on UDisc, and you've got a hefty lead here, Sam.
What is the lead?
2,500 to 1,300.
Yeah, I can't win.
No, you can win in Final
Not
Jeopardy.
if we're not
Jeopardy.
dealing with the... Oh, geez, there's a final. This is bad. Well, then let's really put the sucker out of reach and just bet 0 on that. AB 300.
AB 300.
Sorry, I was just reading the chat. That Super Dillo, Dylan said he has one of those, only because it's nearly
Sounds
my
like
name.
K-Top does too.
Yeah,
Money.
just need and did he put it on there? It's Super Dylan is what his disc?
Yeah, that's what you should do. You should write
Oh
it
yeah,
in
for
on
sure. You just
Super
exactly
Dylan.
right.
Sorry, Sam, what
Perfect
was
way
that?
of marking that disc. Next one, 300.
Okay.
300.
So Aspen Meadows West. This time in UDisc, they separated the
split these
courses.
up, eh?
Mhm.
That. Oh man, what did we already pick for this?
I believe it was 4th was for sure, and I think it was 3rd, but I don't know if I wrote that down right. 4th and 3rd.
I feel like this is going to be either 1 or 2, so I'm just going to take a stab at go with 2.
2, and then Daryl.
What is 1?
And Daryl, you are correct.
I bet wrong.
First.
You bet wrong.
So 1,600 to Daryl. Which are you going to take? 200, I'm guessing?
Go for 200.
Aspen Meadows East.
What is 2?
And
or
then
what is second?
Sam, do you want
I
to
don't
go
even
with
remember what the
5th by
opposing. Sure, yeah. Like why not?
Okay. So second it is. That's your $200 to get to 1,800. And then our last one is...
Whose question is it?
This
is it
one
yours,
would
Sam?
be Sam's now.
I think it's mine, which I think we were at 5. Is it 5?
Okay.
Whatever the last number we didn't pick was.
Yep.
Yeah.
You picked 5. You are correct. So Sea Change Brewing Disc Park Devon is 5th. And I just thought I would put all of those ones in there because I thought it was kind of neat to see in Alberta what our top 5 courses were and how it differed between disc golf scene and
Heck
UDisc.
Yeah.
Right? And so Bailey's makes it onto one course. And then South Bear and Grand Prairie makes it on the other. So it's just kind of interesting that way. But anyways, that gives us also not 10 courses between the two because they were some overlap. But if we were trying to put a tour for this year, an Alberta tour of just random one weekend here, one weekend there, there's the courses.
There's the top 5 to go and hit, yeah.
So as we approach Final Jeopardy, there is a $800 difference where Sam is at 26 and Daryl's at 1,800. And we're going to go into Final Jeopardy. And what's going to happen with this, Sam, is that Daryl's going to write down his number on my page so I know how much he's betting. And then you can tell me how much you're betting. So then that way it's been kind of, I have both numbers, but it was blind.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the same thing with the answers. Daryl will give me his answer and then you can say yours. And I'm the honest guy here. So
do we get to see the category?
First of all, we will do the Final Jeopardy category. It's a very familiar category that you'll be known, and it's called Deep Cut Chain Out Guest. So it's a chain out guest that we've had on the show. I give you some clues, but they're not super specific. So if you've watched the podcast, you might know. So Daryl, you want to write down the amount you're willing to wager of your 1,800? Okay, Daryl's written it down. And Sam, how much are you going to wager of your 2,600?
Well, Jeremy, I mean, I'm here for charity, so I can't go away empty-handed. So I'm going to wager everything, and just understand that if this question's really hard and I lose all of it, it's completely your fault.
Just think of the children, Jeremy.
Oh,
think of the children.
He really did plan on coming on this show properly. He put all of the pressure back on the host.
Exactly.
So here we go. Here are the question or the answers, I guess. Let's go to click to see the question. Sherwood Park, JK Aviar, Proline Cobra, T-Bird believes they have the largest Cobra collection in Canada. So, Daryl, you have about 10 seconds to write down your answer, and you can think of yours, Sam, while we're at it. And this is where we would put in some not what would be generic, non-licensed music.
Non-copyright music,
Cha-cha-cha-cha.
Here, I got a Belizean maraca.
Belizean, yeah, there you go. Just a little bit of maracas in the background. And we can see Sam, you guys can't, but he's just rocking out with the maracas there. So yes, Sherwood Park. One more time. JK Aviar, Proline Cobra, T-Bird believes they have the largest Cobra collection in Canada, and this person was a guest on the Chain Out podcast. And Daryl, we're going to have to ask you to give us an answer here.
I cannot think of one.
We don't want to have to do the buzzer and have you lose whatever it was you bet.
I got an answer.
Okay, so
I don't think it's right.
So Daryl has written down his answer. Sam, do you have an answer?
Not a good one. Like, I'm not confident I actually know anyone that lives in Sherwood Park. I briefly debated trying to type that in, but there was no way I could make that look inconspicuous on camera.
But I admire your honesty.
I'm just going to pull a random memory, and I want to say that the feller who ran the Go-To Symphony Challenge may have been from Sherwood Park, so my guess is who is Josh Smith.
All right, so before we do any reveals here, first of all, Sherwood Park is where they were from.
That's what threw me. I could not think of any guests that we've had on from Sherwood Park.
Complete black hole in my memory for some reason. I don't know why. There's nothing memorable about Sherwood Park in my head.
JK Aviar, Proline Cobra, and T-Bird are their desert island discs.
Yeah.
And then they believe they have the largest...
It's not my guess then.
They believe they have the largest Cobra collection in Canada.
Oh, goodness.
So now, when we guessed Dylan Froelich, Dylan was a guest on the show, but we have not done a full interview with Dylan, nor have we gotten his Desert Island discs. So then, also with Josh Smith, we have not had him on the show yet. So
yeah, I didn't think so.
This is not looking.
I gotta say, I was taking a step. Like, I'm not even confident he lives in Sherwood Park. I'll be jazzed if that's actually correct.
I think Dylan lives in St. Albert. I think, or somewhere north side.
I'll give you guys.
So here's part of the problem. All of our suburbs are named with S. You got St. Albert, you got Sherwood Park, you got Stony Plain, you got Spruce Grove. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, you got Leduc. Yeah,
Saumont and Fort Saskatchewan.
Okay, if you want to give us a clue, but can I have another? Well,
I can give you guys another clue, and we'll start with Sam and let him have a chance.
I mean, no, just take the food out of the mouths of the orphans, Jeremy. What do you want from me here? I don't know anyone from Sherwood Park.
Okay, so Now we're getting lots of guesses in here from Dylan.
Yeah.
I live in Norwoods,
and that's
Daryl. Is it Wally? Actually, that sounds like a great guess. I'm going with Dylan. Is it Wally?
okay. Wally is a great guess, but it's not Wally. But that may happen to spark Daryl's memory.
Well, I appreciate you, Dylan. Thanks.
Well, then that might mean it might be Chad Gamlin.
And can we reveal the answer? The answer is
not Chad Stantz.
Not Chad Stantz. It would be Chad Gamlin. So
yeah, I do remember him saying that he had the largest Cobra collection.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to reveal here how much we know how much Sam wagered. So Sam wagered $2,600, and we just took that $2,600 out of the kids'
lit it on
mouths.
fire. It's gone.
Exactly.
It's gone.
Just burned it right in front of our face.
You didn't even take it out of their mouths. You showed them, like, we're lighting this sucker on fire. You guys don't get vacation this year. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate that.
I'm glad I'm bringing joy to the lives of millions with this.
I'm so glad I bet what I bet.
And if we can reveal, Daryl had $1,800. Daryl, how many dollars did you bet?
I feel like
$1,800,
which is what I'm left with. Oh, you got it.
No,
that's great.
No, he did not get it either.
We ended up with nothing.
No, because he didn't get the guess on the first try. So what I'd like to tell you both is thank you for playing. You both have $0, and we have not decided anything.
Easy come, easy go, eh?
Yeah.
Man, I was so close to all that fake money.
If I just went $17.99. That's what I should have done.
Well, the thing that I love the most about this is that now I get to do another Disc Golf Jeopardy because we haven't settled anything yet. You've still won one and you've still lost one.
What do you mean you still get to do one? This is going to be a weekly thing, Jeremy.
Oh, is that what it is?
When we're on episode 65 of Around the Basket, you're still doing these.
Yeah. Have fun coming up with 25 odd disc golf trivia questions a week, Jeremy.
Every week.
Exactly. Hey, you
that
started
is your
it.
new lunch break activity.
We could be doing Distal right now.
Well, we all realized that we enjoyed doing Distal well before the episode starts. So, so yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So that's awesome. Okay, Daryl, wrap this thing up for us.
Well, Sam, we appreciate you coming on the episode. You do it because
Thanks for
having
having me, guys.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you for coming on. So pick one of your obscure discs that you have one of the ones that you said you could rely on no matter what.
I mean, I know this may not be relevant, but thank you for being on the Sam show. Thank you for being on the show, Sam.
Hey, are we rebranding? Is that what I'll take it if that's what this is?
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to give a shout out?
You know what? I actually had a couple. I had notes for this whole week because I've been stressing about this since you mentioned it to me, and I wanted to make sure I didn't completely suck. And following Ned was not an easy act, so I think I did okay at this point.
Oh, you did fantastic.
Awesome. So I have three things that I call rando mandos that I took notes down about.
Nice.
So if you guys have like 10 or 15 more minutes, if not, I can make this a little faster.
Go for it, Sam.
Do you guys ever weigh your discs? Have you ever felt the need to weigh your discs?
Only in my hand when I raise it up and down in front of me. That's about it.
No.
I keep a spreadsheet of all my discs, and that includes taking information off of them like the weight. And some discs don't show up with weight stamped on them for whatever reason. And so I throw them on a kitchen scale, and I include that information in my spreadsheet. Now, I'm not going to call it a brand or nothing. Up until I found this specific disc, I'd only ever found something that was probably within the margin of error of my kitchen scale.
Okay.
Or there's one guy over here in this 262 odd discs.
Yeah.
That is 7 grams overweight.
What?
How many?
7 grams overweight. Now, that's not kitchen scale error. That's not, it was made at a lower altitude. This disc is flat out too heavy.
And is it too heavy even for PDGA?
It is no PDGA legal. So I looked that up because I know the max weight is generally 180 on mid-ranges and then 175 otherwise.
Yeah.
And its max weight, according to the PDGA, is 175 grams for that specific mold. And it weighed at 184 on my scale. And I give it a gram back because I find when my scale, like, it rounds up.
Right.
So it weighs a little higher. So yeah, I feel like that disc is fully 7 grams at least overweight.
Illegal.
Wow.
And now that I know it, I can't throw it anymore because I feel weird about it. So anyways, if you really like a mold and it doesn't have a weight stamped on it, don't weigh it. Because if you're, halfway honest, you're never going to be able to throw it in tournament play again. And I'm a little frustrated about that fact, I got to be honest.
So before you weighed it, if you held it in your hand, did you have an inkling? This feels a little bit heavier.
The only thing that I thought was odd about
7 grams
it,
different?
No, I would.
No.
you would have to be in the business of, less than 10 gram weights by your hand routinely, I think, to pick up on that, which would be a really odd business to be in. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's legal now, but it wasn't for a while.
Yeah.
And we continue.
Oh, goodness gracious me. The only reason I thought anything of it, like, I got to a point where if a disc was stamped with weight, I wouldn't double check that for any reason. But I have other discs from this brand that had their weight stamped on them, and I thought it was a little odd that it didn't have any weight stamped on it. Like, it seemed out of character. So my conclusion to that is they did weigh it and thought, oh shit, that's overweight. We can't actually sell that or like advertise that it's this heavy. And hopefully people just don't notice. And hey, I did. Now I can't throw it. But it's a nice looking disc, so I don't hate having it on the shelf, is what it is.
You can tell us the brand afterwards.
If you ask me in private, I will consider telling you.
Yeah.
I will consider it. I don't want to start any disc nerd drama, but
no.
I'm also not going to give you guys like that YouTube clip. Like, we've got secret info about a manufacturer with me holding up a disc. Like,
Get the thumbnail. Get the thumbnail.
Yeah. I got two more small things. Dog Rump is doing a meet and greet for the league out here, Parkland Disc Golf Association or something. Brock put this on Facebook. But February 26th, 7 p.m. at the Boston Pizza, Jen Heil Way, next to the Tri-Leisure Center here in Spruce Grove. It's up on Facebook, or so the social media manager tells me. Dog Rump has some serious potential, including possibly a better name, in my opinion. Saying Dog Rump feels really weird sometimes. I got to be honest. But hey, it's the home course now. It is what it is. I didn't name it. If you look at it on Google Maps, actually, the two ponds sort of look like there's like a meme of a shaved corgi butt. And I kind of wonder if that's where it got its name, honestly. It's got some serious potential. Come take part, help us realize it. There's maybe some leagues starting up out here, things like that. More the merrier sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like I say, we got to beat in pretty good. That hopefully the fairways don't come in quite as punishing as last year. We'll see. You never know.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I have is, Daryl, I just became an English citizen. So you and I might have to consider going to England and trying to get in on a national championship over there or something.
Ooh.
Have a chain out invasion of the homeland.
That's awesome. I mean, I don't know if you want to touch on it too much, but how did that come about?
Nothing wild or crazy. My dad is born in England. I am a first generation Canadian, even though I may not look as such. So I had birthright citizenship, and it just took me this long in my life to apply for it. It was a couple $100, as Daryl may be familiar with, just a whole pile of British bureaucracy, and then Canada Post probably losing the letter, or at least striking and having it for a month. It eventually showed up in the mailbox. I'm waiting on a couple of odds and ends, like the actual citizenship ceremony.
Okay.
But yeah, I am apparently a citizen again of the king.
That's awesome, because my son looked into it and he said that he didn't have to do anything. It was just his birthright to be, because he was born to an English parent. So you looked into it a bit more, and that you actually have to apply to get citizenship. Yeah,
and I had looked into it when I was younger. I want to say the rules around it have changed somewhat recently, because the process was not particularly onerous. Right. And I remember being quite intimidated by the whole thing beforehand, and it just sort of seemed rather simple. Aside from collecting some, personal family data and stuff like that, the application was pretty straightforward. Most of it was online, and a lot of it was just sitting and waiting, honestly.
Right.
But yeah, so keep that on the books. I'm into the whole traveling for disc golf thing at this point in my life. So you and me, England or Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland or whatever the hell.
There you go. All right, mate.
And we're gonna go take something down.
We'll have to go for a cup of tea.
Yeah, no doubt, Earl Grey, 2 milk.
I'm down with that.
Don't let it steep more than 6 minutes either, otherwise it's no good.
6 minutes.
6 minutes. I like my tea strong and hard and a little punishing, but also not so much that it coats the bottom of your cup in tea tannins. I actually drank a lot of tea growing up. That is a weird rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of thinking is after we get done with the 5-minute disc corner with Sam Western, we can then do the 5-minute English tea corner, tea and crumpets with Sam and Daryl.
I would way prefer doing a tea and crumpet segment than a disc segment, I will be honest.
Should have had that on the Jeopardy. Should have had a tea and crumpets section.
Maybe what
Next
we'll have
time,
to do
next
is we'll have to, even if it's just Sam, if all you do is come back for the Jeopardy, you guys might have to face off again, and I'll totally tailor it to the two of you.
There you go.
Well, you know, at some point, you guys are going to need to do a Jeopardy against each other, and you're going to need a host for that. So I will, I will happily donate my time to come slag both of you off in Daryl's home while you guys play disc golf Jeopardy against each other.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Oh,
man, I've had so much
perfect.
fun tonight with this, Daryl. How about you?
Oh, Sam's been the greatest. I knew you'd be a great guest, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm happy I prepared for this. I figured
Awesome.
if I just winged this, it would be as good as a flightless dodo. I'm happy I didn't. The last thing I have is a shout out to my social media manager, my financier, my better half, the far better Sam in the Sam squared equation, my girlfriend.
Nice.
Also chain out Maud Dylan for winning me this disc shelf at last year's Tundra Toss. He is partially responsible for this horrendous rabbit hole I went down. Thanks, Dylan. Not sure I'm actually happy about it.
That's awesome.
I wish all our guests was as prepared as you, Sam.
You're so ready. It was awesome.
And I only recently got into the emergency rattler, so we're all good to go.
Well, juice and beer, you're in the clear.
Yeah. Well, you said you've got a zanger. I've got a zanger. Jeremy doesn't, but that's okay. But if we took that zanger, let's say we went out to Dog Rump. I'm just trying to think of a dog leg left hole.
Oh, that one that's the split hole. That split hole where you can go, the short tees are straight and the
which one is that?
That's three. That's three.
Three. So if we went out to 3 with the zanger, we would throw it out there. Is that a par 3?
Oh, yeah.
I think they all are except for 16 or 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we would take that zanger, we'd get out there. Jeremy would come out with his big sexy berry pig.
Ooh, baby.
So we'd have that zanger. We'd throw it out there. It'd be gliding right to the basket. Because it's not Innova, there's only one thing that disc would do, right, Sam? Right, Jeremy?
Yep, definitely.
Oh, yeah. What would it do? I don't know.
What would it do, Sam?
It
would
chain out! See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sam.